News Channel 3 starts off with breaking news right now.
And News Channel 3 has confirmed a crash has killed one person in Hastings tonight. Here is a live look now near the scene at State Road and 1st Street, where state police are directing traffic at this hour. Berry County dispatchers took the call just after 8 o'clock. We've confirmed that this crash involved one car and a pedestrian, and one person was killed. We can also tell you this intersection is only a few blocks away from the area where a man was hit and killed by a car in Hastings last night. Heading back live to tonight's scene, again, one person is dead in a car versus pedestrian crash near State Road and 1st Street. Police say they'll be able to tell us more once they clear this scene. Stay with News Channel 3 throughout the night and for morning updates. We'll also have new information as it comes in on WWMT.com.
Our hearts as an agency, as a city, as fellow human beings go out to Teresa's family and her friends, and we hope that in the days and months ahead they will find peace and closure.
It is a tragic end to a 5-month-long mystery after intense searching that turned up nothing. A suicide note and hand-drawn map from Christopher Lockhart himself finally led police to the body of his long-missing wife.
Not only did that contain a hand-drawn map that led us to ultimately find Teresa, but it also contained a written confession by Chris Lockhart.
Christopher, whatever else he did wrong, if he left information that told where she was, that it was his last good act.
And tonight, family and friends are reacting with shock, anger, and some relief that closure may finally be within reach. We've been on top of this rapidly developing story ever since we broke the news that police had swarmed the Lockhart home in Portage early Tuesday afternoon.
And we continue tonight with live team coverage, beginning with Nikki Zizaza, who spoke with Teresa's loved ones. She is live tonight in Portage at the carpool lot where Teresa's abandoned car was found, setting off a 5-month search for answers. Nikki.
That's right, Kate. Teresa Lockhart's mother is understandably distraught, but I sat down with Teresa's best friend, who says they now have a few answers and they can begin the healing process. Michelle Addington says her nightmare came to life when police confirmed the body they pulled from the woods in rural Allegan County was that of her best friend, Teresa Lockhart.
It's exactly what I had been concerned about. It was my darkest and deepest fear that I kind of shoved in that corner and said, worst case scenario, that's what happened.
The shocking discovery concluding an intensive search that left the community and Teresa's family on edge for months.
Her mom really felt very strongly she was dead right away. So her mom has very much already accepted it because she accepted it in May. Her daughter was no longer with her.
Just hours after Christopher Lockhart was found dead in his basement, detectives finding a note that led them to Teresa's body.
Teresa didn't deserve this. She was a very kind-hearted person who was not violent at all, would never have dreamed of any kind of violent action. She was just an absolute kind-hearted, generous person who devoted her life trying to help kids. And
Addington saying Teresa's marriage to Chris was toxic, but her devotion and deep faith wouldn't allow her to leave.
She made a vow, and so even through his abuse, when she left him because she felt she needed to for her own safety, her vow told her, give him another chance. He's begging me. He's promising to change. This is the man I married. I committed to him. I'm going to give him that chance. And that's the kind of person she was.
The kind of person who Addington describes as strong-willed.
So it doesn't surprise me that when they got in an argument, a heated argument, as he said, she also would have stood her ground and said, this is wrong, you're not right, this isn't right. And she just stood her ground. And so I know exactly why and how it came to this, because for a little tiny person that she was, she would have fought.
And while her friends and family continue to mourn, she says closure is difficult.
For Teresa's mom, Loretta, it's very clear. She's angry. She's angry that that happened to her daughter, and she's been very angry and upset with Chris.
Teresa Lockhart's sister, Joan Maloney, watched the news conference tonight and shared her grief on Facebook. She says, quote, my heart is breaking that a special life has been taken away, but we now have closure as to what and when. Chris did one good deed before he died, and that was to tell us where we could find Teresa. Teresa Lockhart's mother says they will plan a proper memorial, and they thank their community for the continued support over the past 5 months. For now, I'm live in Portage. Nikki Zizaza, News Channel 3.
And tomorrow, grief counselors will be on hand at Schoolcraft Community Schools. That's where Teresa worked for 3 years before she was killed. The district says that extra support is available to students and staff as they try to deal with her death. In a statement to News Channel 3 tonight, the Schoolcraft superintendent says, quote, "We are all saddened by her death and send our deepest condolences to her family, friends, colleagues, and students. Like so many others, all of us at Schoolcraft Community Schools have been holding out hope for a very different outcome since the news of her disappearance last May."
I can honestly say rarely does a day go by that I don't think of Teresa.
Well, Teresa's friends from church say they knew something was wrong when Teresa didn't call and never showed up to a Sunday service at St. Joseph's in Kalamazoo. Marianne Houston says she got a bad feeling about what may have happened to Teresa after talking with Christopher Lockhart.
You would be nervous if your loved one was missing and you didn't know. But there was something about it that when I left, I didn't have a good feeling.
Houston says she knew the Lockhart's marriage was troubled, but that Teresa was committed to making it work.
Now, Portage police say they became suspicious of Christopher Lockhart after talking with him just a few days after his wife went missing. She was never reported missing by him.
As of October 23rd, 2017, we had not located Teresa, and we had not had any cooperation in trying to locate her from her husband, Chris. Not once had he contacted our agency looking for any updates into the investigation. And to our knowledge, not once had he orchestrated, conducted, or participated in any searches for Teresa.
Tonight, neighbors of the Lockharts now know they've been living next to a killer for months. Those families and the police who spent countless hours looking for Teresa say they have mixed emotions of relief and sympathy for her family tonight. News Channel 3's Anna Giles continues our live team coverage now on the Teresa Lockhart murder from Portage Public Safety. Anna.
Andy, Portage police say their investigation into Teresa's disappearance never took a back seat. They felt a duty to find answers. Neighbors say they are glad to see closure and move on.
For 154 days, police around the country searched for Teresa Lockhart, a beloved Spanish teacher, friend, and daughter. During a news conference Wednesday, West Michigan learned the truth. Her husband, Chris, killed her.
I would say everybody involved in this was thinking about it every day and going through things in their mind about what could we do next.
Investigating Teresa's case took an emotional toll on Portage Department of Public Safety Director Nicholas Armold.
You have a sinking feeling when you know what you know, but you can't prove it.
Margot Wright moved into a home just a few hundred yards away from the Lockhart house 2 weeks ago, learning about this case through neighbors.
So it was a little scary, but I felt more for the family than I did really for myself.
She says she was horrified to learn about an apparent murder-suicide unfolding just down the street.
Maybe he's in a better place now, maybe he's not, but unfortunately he took another person's life.
Everyone involved in the case hopes these answers bring closure.
And we move on. And that's all we can do.
The director of Portage Public Safety says his heart goes out to both the families of Chris and Teresa Lockhart. He hopes they can find closure in the days and months to come. Live in Portage, Anna Giles, News Channel 3.
A Portage public safety officer say they've had a sinking feeling at work every day for the last 5 months leading up to yesterday's events. It's given this case everything it's got, from forensics to ground, air, and waterway searches to out-of-state travel. It's spent months devoting time and resources, and tonight we're establishing a timeline of events that led them to this tragic close. On this day, May 18th, 2017, Teresa Lockhart's life would end suddenly. Seen here leaving her yoga class at Family Fitness in Portage, she wouldn't be seen again until 5 months later, buried in a shallow grave 50 miles from home. But a lot happened in between. On May 20th, we now know 2 days after her husband murdered her, Teresa's car was found at a local park and ride. On May 21st, police made contact with Christopher Lockhart, who lied and told them he didn't know where his wife was. In early June, police dubbed Teresa's death a possible murder and named her husband, described as uncooperative, a person of interest. Christopher would then proceed down a self-destructive path.
Officer, I'm fine. You say you're fine. You say you haven't been drinking. You're not going to take any more tests, though. You tie my hands.
After murdering Teresa, he was arrested 4 times on charges including suspicion of drunk driving, vandalizing his neighbor's property, and tampering with his ankle tether. Yesterday morning, during a welfare check at the Lockhart home, Christopher was found dead in the basement. He left a suicide note and in it confessed to killing Teresa and provided police with a hand-drawn map of Swan Creek Marsh in the Allegan County State Game area. That's where Teresa's body was finally found. More than 17 agencies assisted in this search: local sheriff's offices, state police, the DNR, Western School of Medicine. It's a long list of departments that worked together for 5 months in hopes of bringing closure to Teresa's loved ones. Today, 154 days later, they received it. But this case isn't over yet. We still don't know the exact cause of Teresa's death. Her autopsy results are pending.
Now, today's developments did give us a lot of answers we've been hoping for in the disappearance of Teresa Lockhart, but there are still some unanswered questions, not the least of which, how and why Teresa was killed. We posted today's news conference with Portage Public Safety in its entirety in the Raw News section of our website, WWMT.com. You can count on our website and also our free News Channel 3 mobile app for every new update on the Teresa Lockhart case. The News Channel 3 morning team will have continuing coverage as well for you tomorrow. Join Kirk and Erica for the latest developments overnight.
Coming up, Lieutenant Governor Brian Cowley brings a statewide tour to Kalamazoo. Hear what he is saying about a possible run for the state's top office in 2018.
And our first widespread frost and freeze is right around the corner, and so could be our first few snowflakes. So look at that trick-or-treating weekend forecast is coming up live at 11.
On The Late Show, Colbert's all new with Hugh Laurie. Tomorrow, catch Julianne